Hey, this is Matt. Once again, we're about to another review, and there's another paid request from Frame by Frame. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Frame by Frame wanted me to talk about Stranger Things Season 2, Episode 9, and then he also wanted me to give overall thoughts, which I'll probably do that in another video. I will say, though, that I did like the finale. But if Frame by Frame's watching, I would like to take a break from Stranger Things. Maybe, like, in case he does try to request season 3, maybe wait, at least wait a month. Like, give me a month break. Like, maybe if you do still want to request it, maybe give me, like, a month. Because kind of this on the show based on these two seasons. But I did think this was a good episode for the most part. I thought it was a pretty decent finale for the most part. Some of the questions, some of the qualms I had does come into play. And so it's not as much of a big deal. Like David Harbour, he actually apologizes and has a nice moment with Eleven. And he talks about how he reminds her of his daughter, and he was scared that what took his daughter would take her too. Apologizes. David Harbour does a good job with that. I like that Mike gets pissed when David Harbour tells him that he's been hiding her for like a year. He's like punching the shit out of David Harbour. I thought that was a nice moment. The idea, pretty much three groups. David Harbour and Eleven are going to go to the facility to close this gate to save the day, stop the evil. The kids decide to go into the tunnels and cause a distraction so that most of the monsters will be out of there for 11 David Harbour to go in safely. And Winona Ryder, her son, and someone else is going to pretty much burn the possession out of the character Will. He doesn't like the heat it up, maybe get to a point where he'll be leaving the body. It pretty much it goes between each one of these groups doing their thing. The stuff with 11 David Harbour. I know people say, well, episode 7 wasn't pointless because there's a point where the one stupid girl is teaching 11 how to channel her anger, but she could have learned that easily from her mom. I mean, she wasn't doing anything. She was sitting in the chair, talking telepathy, use some telepathy, tell her a bunch of stuff that could have done the same exact thing in a lot less time without wasting an episode. I like that David Harbour has something to do, and he's shooting the creatures either with shotgun and stuff to keep them away until she's able to do her thing. Her closing the gate still seemed a bit too easy, but I guess now that I think about what more could you do with it, I don't know. I don't think you needed this Max girl. You didn't need the older asshole brother. I don't think you needed any of that in this whole season. I think it's there just for the black kid Lucas to have something to do. Oh, I have this girl and I like her. I'm like, well, is that really the best you could come up with that character to do? That's something more noteworthy or essential to the actual plot? This whole Max character was not worth the piss to pot in, let alone the asshole older. Just to defeat the evil is enough. We don't need this extra shit. So when the Max's bro comes by and kicks this one guy Steve's ass, and then the sister gets the needle in her asshole brother's neck. And yes, she does threaten him, but the way this character's portrayed, I don't buy him never messing with her again. I just don't. Yes, he did. Yes, she did threaten him, but again, based on his character, based on the way he behaved, based on the fact that he's been beaten up by his, dad or whoever the fuck, dad. Seems like he actually rather enjoys it. Well, I wouldn't say enjoys it, but like when the Steve guy kept punching him, he was just kept laughing about it. It seemed like he wouldn't be scared of his sister even after that. Just saying. And this would mean you don't need any of that shit. So that's what I mean. Like that stuff, don't care about. But again, the stuff with David Harbour apologizing, I like that they put that into it. The demo dog that the one kid, Dustin, he, the one he raised and fed, that does come at least into a little bit of play where it lets them go. Pretty much he just feeds them more of that candy than they're able to pass by. Okay, at least that did lead to something. I still wish there was more practical effects. I wish there was a lot less digital. Again, for a show that's supposed to be so much into the 80s aesthetic with the music and the look and the cinematography and the environment and the clothes, the digital stuff sticks out like a sore thumb. The creatures, they don't really have that interest. Like the demo dogs don't really have that interesting of a design. Like the big creature that's mysterious and the clouds you can't really see well because it's the clouds and the red lightning. That looked cool and mysterious. And compared to these demo dolls, they just look, they're black and they go, that's pretty much it. I don't know, just, it seems like someone I would kill in Resident Evil 7, the video game or something. They do actually, because I haven't played the game, but I've seen my friends play it, and it does look like one of those mold things. But when they're on their legs and when they're four-legged, some bitch, it does kind of look like them. Just you change the face a little bit. I don't know. Just the design isn't really interesting, and just again all digital. There's no practical effects to be had anywhere. Like zero, really zero. Don't tell me they don't have the budget for it. I've seen movies micro budget that still have practical effects. I did grow to like the one character Steve. Probably other than Bob, Sean Astin's character, Steve is like the other surprising character where there's a lot more to him than you originally thought, and that's one I think they did one of the better jobs writing because he gets dumped by this bitch, and I think she's a bitch. I don't like Mike's sister. I think she's a bitch. I don't like her. If she got killed off, I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't shed a tear or swear off my balls. But the Steve guy, they wrote his character better. He starts hanging out with the kids and, hey, I promise to keep you shitheads safe. I gotta do my job. When he gets knocked out, they go to the tunnels and he's pissed. What are you doing? Like, we can't be here. Fine, if we don't be here, I'm gonna lead. So that's what I mean. Like, he had one of the better writing jobs, one of the better written characters in this season. Surprisingly enough. Because it seemed like there's not much to him in season one, and they made him a bit interesting in this season. I will say that. Everything's fine. This whole thing with Mike and Eleven, where Mike's like, I can't lose you again, and they're ready to kiss, and they don't, and then they kiss. It feels a bit empty because there's been nothing for the whole fucking season until the last episode. Like, if you came in halfway, and then they're getting to know each other, bond again, and then you go to that, then there'd be a bit more meaning to it. There'd be more feeling to it. It just feels, oh, they finally met again. Then literally a minute later, oh, I can't lose you again. This seems like stuff that should have happened 2, 3 episodes ago. Just idea. It's one of my issues is that this would work better as a miniseries, not a 9 episode TV show. But I liked some of the song uses, time after time, every breath you take, I'll be watching you. You have the whole school dance, where each kid gets to dance. Luke is dancing with Max. Dustin's dancing with his friend's older sister. Mike's dancing with Eleven. David Harbour's hanging out with Winona Ryder. Barb gets her funeral like I give a shit. But overall, I liked it. It kind of summed it all up. I did leave room for a next one because while the gate is closed in the upside down world, you see the mysterious thing looming over the school. I don't have issues with the acting. I don't have issues with the cinematography. I do have issues with the effects because, again, the digital sticks out like a sore thumb. You do have some good song usages. And like the kids work well together. David Harbour. At the beginning of this season, I was really disliking this character. At least eventually, they did fix it a bit. I appreciate that. At least they gave a bit of reasoning. At least they gave a bit of rationalization. And again, the moment between him and Eleven in the truck in the conversation, I thought they did a nice job with that. Explaining his thoughts and feelings and admitting that he was an idiot and he screwed up. Okay, I'm glad that they at least did that. Cool. So again, other than I wish they used more practical effects. I don't give a shit about Max. I don't give a shit about his older brother. I don't give a shit about Mike's older sister. I don't give a shit about anything dealing with her and Will's brother. I don't even really care about Will's brother. The few moments he shares with his brother Will are nice, but other than that, at times he feels almost pointless in the season. Like, really, to go on this, hey, we gotta give this tape to this conspiracy guy, and justice for Barb. That's really like the whole part of the season, and which really pointless. Like, you could easily cut it out and wouldn't change a fucking thing deal with the actual plot. Other than the ending where there's a natural spotlight because of the tape. I guess that's the only reason they put it in there. But really, Paul Reiser, who's alive, could have done the same fucking thing. The Terrors could have done the same fucking thing. Paul Reiser could have gotten it. Give it to someone. Without all that other bullshit. Anyway, just saying. That's another thing. I do like Paul Reiser. A friend of mine said that one of the reasons Paul Reiser did this, he didn't want to be Burke again from Aliens. That was actually the right call. It was the right call, Ripley. It was the right call. So, I like that, Paul Reiser is actually not a douche. That was surprising. I appreciate that. See, there's stuff I do appreciate. Paul Reiser not being, okay, I think they're going typical, he's a bad guy. They didn't. Props to that, so. Overall, I liked it. And you know what? I'll save that for another episode. Another video. Because you want to know my overall thoughts on the show based on these 2 seasons. So, stay tuned next time. Later.